G'day and welcome guys, Duckville here, bringing you some Heart of the Swarm action. Today we've got a Zerg vs Zerg featuring a player which, I'll be completely honest, I had never really heard of before, but he is going to be facing off against another Zerg opponent. Down in the bottom left hand side we have a player who was previously a part of the FX Open team that has now been acquired by Na'Vi. It is Minato, and we'll see his opponents just across to the right-hand side is our Blue Zerg player. Just over here on Newkirk Precinct, it is ZergBuddy. And we'll find out what these two get up to. Of course, the Zerg versus Zerg matchup, a little bit of an interesting one. Of course, perhaps a controversial one, if you would look at it in that regard. In that, of course, this matchup does tend to be a pretty stale sort of affair from time to time, given that mutas are so powerful, given that you often see just basic sorts of things, whether it be a sort of like a Zergling and Baneling-based fights, or whether you go just straight up to the muta tech and just have big clouds of mutalists fighting across the map. And we'll find out which of those these players are going to go for. Of course, as we mentioned just a second ago, Na'Vi recently acquiring the FXO, the European FXO squad. So Baby Knight, Minato, and I believe Lowly, and a couple other folks that are in the team have recently joined up. It's going to be very interesting to see how they go. Of course, if you're familiar with the Dota 2 scene, you'll be aware of Na'Vi having one of the most successful Dota 2 teams around. In fact, of just changing up a little bit recently, but also having a CS team and those sorts of things. So if you're not aware who Na'Vi is, certainly do have a quick look at them on Liquipedia, or you know, you can have a look at some of their content on YouTube. They do put up some really good content on YouTube as well. So it looks like for both of these players, we're going to have we're not actually going to have a similar sort of build. We got different styles coming out of both of them here. ZergBuddy picking up a pool pretty quickly along with an extractor as well. So he is going to have very quick Zergling speed here. We'll keep an eye on whether he takes some of these drones out of the gas. Of course, a very big indicator of what a player is about to do, but Zergling speed does start up straight away. He is continuing to mine that gas as well, so we may see ZergBuddy go for just a simple sort of Zergling Baneling attack here, while for Minato, just across to the left-hand side, he's thrown down the natural hatchery and has also got a spawning pool of his own, along with some gas as well. But of course, this means that his gas is going to be a lot slower, meaning that his Zergling speed is going to be a lot further behind, and ZergBuddy has just decided, yep, it is going to be a Zergling Baneling attack coming very quickly out of him. Of course, this map does boast a very decent sort of runtime to get to your opponent, and it looks as if they will engage each other in the middle of the map here. ZergBuddy and Minato just having a quick look at the Zerglings as they pass by in the middle section of the map, but it looks like Minato is just going to have a little bit of trouble defending this. Of course, he does have that hatchery, which means he will be able to get a lot better production than his opponent out very soon. But the big issue is that the Zerglings are already on their way across. The Zergling speed is already just about done. And for Minato, he has only just started it now, recognizing that he is in quite a lot of trouble. Throws down a spine crawler just inside the main base here. This hatchery is not going to get really any drones mining at it right now. He's just got to get some production out. He's got to get some defenses as well, as Minato is slowly becoming under a big threat here. It looks like ZergBuddy is just going to run inside, going to actually lose a creep tumor there, and that could be a very interesting point, because of course that could have been some of the energy that goes towards a transfuse or something like that to keep a spine crawler alive. And it looks like ZergBuddy gets inside and takes out one of the queens straight away. The Baneling hit gets on very nicely. The spine crawler is finally up, and a queen does look like she's going to go down, but she does stay up for the time being. And Minato is now just going to have to be very careful, because the Zerglings are just going to continue to stream in, and ZergBuddy is just going to have an absolute field day here. For some reason, I have no clue why Minato wanted to move that. Surely he knew, given the vision that he had across the map, that ZergBuddy was going to continue on with all of this attack. And while it looks like the Lings should be cleaned up, in fact, no, 3 will remain inside the main base, Minato is just absolutely struggling at this point. Down to 11 drones mining right now. Is going to be able to remove those Lings finally. And of course, his economy could look certainly a lot better, but the problem is now that he's got this constant threat of units just flooding their way across the map, ZergBuddy just pressing that Z button and just streaming those links across, and I think that could be it right now for Minato. Unfortunately, the first cast of a Na'Vi player is going to be going down to ZergBuddy here to some very quick attacks. It looks like the Queen is going to stay alive for a moment, but not until she gets a Baneling in the face, and the Spine Crawler again is on the move. I really really question this type of movement of this. Of course, he does need to get some sort of defense down here at the natural base, but I mean, it is going to take so long for this Spine Crawler to get inside. The Lings are going to come across. We've got more Banelings just morphing in now as well, and Minato looking to try and defend at the bottom of this ramp. Does a nice job actually moving the Spine Crawler up there, and in fact is going to poke away at that Baneling, removing that, and he is going to hold up for the time being. So he is actually holding together just for the moment. In fact, that movement, he may have totally proven me wrong. This movement down here does provide him with a good wall of cover across this sort of area here. Not to mention, it kind of chokes up the ramp as well, which means that it does get a little bit harder to try and push up there without catching a Baneling in the face. But speaking of Banelings, 7 more are now morphing in. In fact, 8 more are now just popped up here for ZergBuddy. So he's going for a final push here. Going to stagger out those Banelings. You don't want them all to come in at the same time because they could be poked away or blown up by a singular Baneling here, but ZergBuddy is just going to have way too much here. As we can see, the Baneling's now rolling across. Minato is going to fall down. There is no way for him to get back in this position. He was not able to get any counterattacks back across the map. His drone count is about to fall down. The Baneling's just going to come through and finally roll in. Are they going to come in for the attack? Yes, they do. Taking out a couple of the drones here, but that is going to be it for Minato from Na'vi, falling down to 2 drones, and that is pretty much that. So ZergBuddy with a very quick attack here was able to just destroy the economy of his opponent there, and that is that. We see Minato GG. So very quick game. Of course, this is very much the style in which Zerg vs Zerg operates in Heart of the Swarm. You either have Lingbane fights, Roach or Lins, or of course you then get to that stage where it gets to the Mutacloud versus Mutacloud. So hope you all enjoyed that game. If you want to catch some more Zerg vs Zerg, there is Ret vs Nurtio and Ret vs Vortex on the channel. Check those out, and I'll see you guys next time. In total, the Spire just about to finish up. More Zerglings coming about as well. And the Ognis is starting to spread himself a little bit thinner, of course, looking towards taking a 3rd base. This means that your defenses are spread a little bit further. As we can see, we've got Marines, we've got a few mines, and